Hi, I'm Mia St. John, and you're listening to Fascination Street podcast.
I believe that everybody has a story, and I'm fascinated to hear them. So come with me as we take a walk down Fascination Street. Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with actress Judi Beecher. Judi is an actress, a singer, and a songwriter. And in this episode, we chat about her getting into banking fresh out of college and then going over to Europe to work in the banking industry over there. We talk a little bit about her modeling and acting and singing in France, Italy, Spain, and Germany, even performing with the Gypsy Kings in Europe, and working with Dany Boone in France. And speaking of France, we talk a lot about her love of Paris and the two new projects that she has coming out. The first one is My Name Is Ronya, and it's a documentary that's still in production that covers some of her family members escaping the Holocaust. And the second project is Tango Shalom, which is in theaters right now and probably streaming if you look for it in the right place. She also tells us what it was like to work with Woody Allen and why she does so many acting projects in France. This is my conversation with actress, singer, and songwriter Judi Beecher.
Yeah, talk to me, yeah.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Judi Beecher. How are you doing today, Judi?
Hi, great to be here. I'm doing great.
That is fantastic. Judi, what I like to do is, in order to help us get to know who you are and how you got to where you are, I like to talk about you. Tell us where you were born and raised. Where did you grow up?
I was born and raised in Long Island in Great Neck. And actually, I was born in Bayside. Then I moved to Great Neck when I was a little kid, and I grew up there. Then decided that it was too small for me and decided to travel the world.
At 13, just kidding. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be an actress and I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to a model. And but then when I got older, I was so shy that it was just like not possible to do something like that because I was so incredibly shy. I wasn't shy with my friends, like one-on-one with my friends or with my family. I was the leader with them. But with any kind of a group or a class or being on stage or anything in front of anyone, you couldn't hear me. My voice became so little. I was so shy. So there was no way I was going to be an actor.
Did you go to film school or anything like that? What did you go to school for?
No, I went to school for business and for psychology. I thought I was going to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And then I wanted to go into business. And I went to the business program in Cornell. I went to the grad business school in undergrad. And I studied international relations and government with France and Italy.
Why? What did you want to do with that?
I don't know. I wasn't quite sure, but I was interested in France and Italy, and I was interested in business, not government. It was more business. So I wanted to do something in business. I didn't know what. And I went to the school counselor and they had job fairs and stuff like that afterwards. And all these banks were there. And everyone said, well, if you're studying this, you're supposed to go into banking. I was like, oh, okay. That's not really what I thought about, but yeah, okay. So I was applying for these different jobs and there was this French bank there. And I ended up doing an internship. And right after I graduated, I went over there to do this 6-month internship. And while I was in college still, I kind of fell into modeling. And I was doing the cover of the school paper and the town paper. And I really liked modeling. But my parents didn't really like that I was doing modeling.
Why?
They didn't like that type of profession, modeling, acting. They don't see it as a real profession. My mother even today said, I really think you should go into real estate. I was like, Mom, really? Now?
Are your parents Jewish?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, there it is. That makes sense. That seems to be a common through line with Jewish families. The parents are like, that's not a real thing. Go be a lawyer or something.
Yes. So what happened was I went over there to Europe and I brought my portfolio with me and I hid it from them, but they saw that I had it and they were very angry.
Nice.
But I worked at the bank and I hated working at the bank. It was horrible. But on my lunch breaks, I would go out and I'd go on modeling go-sees. And then when I finished the internship 6 months later, I ended up modeling full-time.
Oh, sweet.
In Paris. And then I went to Italy to model as well. And then I went to Spain as a singer, busking our way across the south of France, from Italy to the south of France into Spain. And I became a singer and model in Barcelona and then Germany and then came back.
Wow. Where's that memoir?
I know. I need to write it.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it was actually amazing. I have a lot of interesting things in my past.
So when you were singing across Europe and New York, you sang, I guess, with or alongside the Gypsy Kings. How'd that happen?
So when we were busking, so we would sing in front of restaurants and then we go in and eat in the restaurants because we made so much money. And we met the Gypsy Kings in Avignon in France. It was funny because all of the musicians would hang out singing outside in the courtyards around the restaurants. And we, sat and we were singing and I was harmonizing with them and it was super fun. So we spent a couple of days with them, singing with them. And I actually ran into some of the Gypsy Kings recently when I was in Cannes. I think it was like before it closed down for COVID. And I said, do you remember? I sang with you guys. Do you remember? It's like a long time ago. It was really funny.
What did they say?
Yeah, the one that I can't even remember said he did. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, if now is any indication, you definitely leave a lasting impression. You seem personable, and also you're going to find this hard to believe, but easy on the eyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And then at some point, I guess you decided that you were going to get into acting. So you went from modeling and singing and then to acting. Is that right?
Almost. I went from modeling to singing. Then I actually came back to New York and I decided that I was going to create a bag line because I was modeling and I saw these different cool things there. So I was going to make these bags out of neoprene, which is for scuba diving.
Sure.
So I was going to make these bags out of neoprene. And I also had found this thing called a rock bag. It was this plastic rock bag. So I was going to start this company and produce these rock bags and these neoprene bags. And I needed to make some money. So I went to a trade show and I spoke fluent Italian and fluent French then. So I went and I worked for this company interpreting. It was a company of shearling coats. And my boyfriend in Italy happened to have a company of shearling coats. So I knew everything about making shearling coats. And the head of the company says, hey, would you like to run our company in New York? We need someone, because they were from Italy. And I said, no, I'm really not interested. I have my own thing. I'm going to make these bags. I really don't want to do that, but thank you. But I'll help you set up shows or whatever. So I did that and I helped them. And the company started becoming super successful in New York. And I ended up taking over, and the head of the company and myself, we opened up a filial company in New York City. And I ended up selling I was a sales rep for their line and 5 other lines out of Italy and France. Some of the things modeling, I had met some other designers and I brought that over. So I started doing that. And then a couple of years into that, my friend from college, who was very impressed that I had a showroom on 7th Avenue and I had employees and I had a big green marble desk. And he said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I said, that's a good question. And I looked around my office and I said, well, I don't know what it is I want to do, but not this. So I closed my business.
Really?
Yep. I closed my business. And we had to sneak out of the showroom because we had a contract.
Wow.
We had a 5-year or something. We lined all the stuff up and we had to, in the middle of the night, we got all the stuff out of the showroom. And I still worked with the owner of the company doing international stuff. But I did this book, What Color is Your Parachute? And I answered all the questions in it and everything in it pointed to acting and singing. And basically, it was like, what did you love to do as a child? So I ended up saying, well, I'm going to be an actress. And my parents said, oh my gosh, no, you're not. You're going to give up your business and be an actress. I said, yep, that's what I'm doing. So I, went to acting school.
So this book, What Color Is Your Parachute? Where did you find this book? Who gave it to you? Where did you find it? Like, how'd that happen?
I have no idea how I got a hold of that book, but it's still out. Like, it keeps getting revised. The book every year gets revised. It's such a great book because it really kind of digs down deep into what you love to do. What are your passions? Like, what can you make money doing? I don't know who actually gave me that book.
Well, you need to find that person and send them $1.
Yeah. When I go for things, I really go for things. So I ended up studying with many, many teachers, like all the founders of the Actors Studio. And
I mean, Uta Hagen and Elaine Stritch. Good Lord.
Yeah. And Bobby Lewis. I mean, like all the teachers I studied with was just amazing. And Bill Hickey, also legends.
Sure. So what did you do about that stage fright? Because when you were younger, you couldn't really do things in front of folks you didn't know. So how did you get over that hurdle?
I was in acting class. I was in a 2-year Meisner program with Catherine Gately. And I chose Catherine Gately because she was the hardest teacher ever. And every teacher before that had always told me I was great. So I found someone who was going to really rip me apart because I really wanted to learn. And I said, she's really hard. I want to go with her because I wanted to be the best actress I could possibly be. So I studied with her, and every actor in her class ended up not wanting to act anymore because she would tear people apart so much. They didn't feel worthy of being on stage anymore. And I had such a huge amount of confidence. I was like, I'd go in, I'd book anything. I was so self-confident at this point. But now I had no more confidence by the end of this class. I had no confidence in myself. And I went to the theater. It was the final presentation. And I was crying all the way to the theater, thinking I didn't deserve to be on stage with everyone else because I was horrible. And I stood there. I was looking in the mirror at myself, crying. I was like, you got to pull yourself together. You got to go on stage. And I'm crying. And I look up at myself and I say, fuck it. Fuck everyone. My parents were going to be there. My teachers were out there. There were casting directors and agents out there to find new talent. And I didn't feel worthy. And that fuck it. Fuck everyone. Fuck everyone who's out there. Fuck my parents. Fuck the casting directors. Fuck my teacher. And I just got up and I went out on stage and I kicked ass. And I was the only one to get an agent.
Really?
Yep. And I had zero confidence in myself before that. So that's the key. Fuck it. Don't care about what anyone else thinks. Go out there and be the best that you can be.
That's going to be the name of your memoir.
Yes, that's good.
So then I guess you sort of went on a string of things. You worked with Woody Allen?
Yes.
I feel like I know that name. I don't.
Have you heard
Just
of
kidding.
him?
Yeah, I think maybe a little. So how did that happen? Woody Allen. Well, that dude's he's up there, man. How did you get up there? How'd you do that with that dude?
That was my very first job.
Get out of here.
Yes, it's my very, very first job. It was a string of commercials for the Italian market called Coop Italia. So it was my very first time doing anything. I was nervous and I was, young. And so he actually pulled me out and gave me a whole little scene to do, which I was very excited about. I was the woman in red in the commercial.
So when you're working with him, you hear all these stories about how, you got to go audition for him in a closed room with nobody in there and he's watching from a live feed and do all this weird stuff. What was your experience working with him? Was he super cool? And was he a good director? And what I mean is, was it hard to understand the direction he was giving, or was he just like, do it again? Like, did he give notes?
What I really appreciated about him was he was very hands-on and he was constantly behind the camera. So he really, really wanted to see like what the shots were going to be. I thought he was a really good director, actually.
That is good to hear. So what made you pick Stella Adler?
Because Elaine Stritch was there. I wanted to work with Elaine Stritch, and she was doing an advanced like master's program that I had to be selected for to be in. So I auditioned for the class and I was selected. And it was really amazing to work with Elaine. She's just a powerhouse. And after the class was over, I continued to work with her one-on-one. I'd go to her apartment at the Carlisle Hotel and we work on different materials and auditions and things. And she was amazing and just really, really inspiring. She would tell stories about her life, and she was a great mentor to have.
Nice. Well, Elaine Stritch is a hell of a reason to decide to go somewhere. That lady, a powerhouse.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
You know those popping phone handle things that you see on everyone's phones nowadays? Well, how would you like to put your logo on them? Does your podcast or band need new merch? Do you want to bring attention to your new book or film? Maybe you need something unique for your Patreon or crowdfunding campaign. Then visit thelogopop.com, where you can customize them with the logo of your podcast, band, business, art, school mascot, or whatever else you can think of. These are way more affordable than you may think at thelogopop.com. Mention where you heard this ad and get free shipping on your entire order. Remember, that's thelogopop.com to order your custom popping phone handles. That's thelogopop.com.
Let's get back into it.
After that, you did some off-Broadway stuff, and you were on TV shows that everybody's heard of, the Law and Orders, the Jags, the Shields, and you also worked in video games and have done anime TV series, voiceovers and stuff. Of all of those different, I guess, platforms of performance, which of those did you like the most?
Well, I like any opportunity to act, number one. Any opportunity to flex my acting muscles is amazing.
And go.
You want me to act?
Oh, yeah, sure. Now go ahead.
Okay. What did I do now? I don't know. I'm torn. Film. I love film, I think. Movies. I like TV because if you get on a series, it's a stable job that you have. Right. You get to act all the time. Sure. Movies, you become like a family. You create this world, and then you have to say goodbye. That's movies, film. So it's sad. It's fun and it's sad. It takes a little bit longer. TV is much more compact. You got to get it done. And theater is amazing because it's a live audience that's actually giving you feedback, like you're acting with them, they're there. So you're getting that instant gratification of having the end product, the people who are going to see it in the end, you're actually seeing their reaction to it and feeling and their laughter or their crying or whatever it is. So that's also, theater's pretty amazing too.
Nice. Now behind you, I see a poster for Only in Paris.
Yes.
Tell me about Only in Paris. You produced and starred in this?
Mm-hmm. So there was a point where I was never getting cast for anything that was comedic. I was always being cast in dramas, but I'm actually pretty funny. I'm a little quirky and funny, but nobody saw me that way. And they would never put me up for anything. It was always dramas. And I was at the Cannes Film Festival. I met a director and I'd watched some of his work. His style was kind of Woody Allen-esque. And he had shot something in Paris, and I was heading to Paris after Cannes, and he was heading to Paris after Cannes. I said, let's make a movie together. And he said, okay, well, what are we going to shoot? So I put out to my network, I said, I need a script. I'm the lead, shot in Paris, romantic comedy, go. And I got all these different scripts submitted to me, and I chose Only in Paris. Then I cast it. I got the locations. I did a lot. I did almost I didn't know what it was like to produce a movie, but at that point, and I was the lead actress in it, Samantha Tomlinson. We ended up winning a whole bunch of awards and going around the world. And it was a super, super fun film and fun thing to do. And as you see now, I'm being cast in comedies all the time because I proved myself. I won, Best Actress, and it was Best Short, Best Romantic Comedies. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So, and then after that, I guess the awards didn't stop, or at least the nominations. You even got nominated for, I guess you were in The Warrior and the Savior.
Mm-hmm.
Can I guess which one you were?
Well, the Warrior and the Savior were two little kids from South Africa that were stolen from their mother. And I was the woman. It was me and my husband. We adopted them, quote unquote. We are on the black market. So the Warrior and the Savior, they were the two kids.
Sounds hilarious. I can see why you're a comedy powerhouse.
That was a drama. Yeah. But I did just get nominated for Tango Shalom.
You did? Really?
For Best Actress, yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I hear it's an honor just to be nominated.
It is, because, there's like a lot of films that are there and only 4 people get nominated. So
that's fantastic.
One person wins.
We're going to get to Tango Shalom in a minute, but first I want to talk about why you do so much in France. Like, looking at your resume and your bio and stuff, you do a ton of stuff in France, and I would assume in French. How did you come to work so much in France?
When I first went over there to work in the bank, I went over there before I went to work in the bank. I spent a summer before I graduated college, and I became obsessed with France. I love France so much. I feel like it's my second home. I've always felt that way right away. I was just completely obsessed with Italy as well. I feel the same way, those two countries. And I would do anything to go back and to do stuff and to work. So I speak fluent French. I was able to get dual nationality with Germany. My mother was from Germany. So I was able to get dual nationality, and which means that I can now work anywhere in Europe with the EU. So I got an agent. I was with ICM France over in France, and I just started working over there. So I guess I do a lot of stuff over there. I actually booked Heavy Rain, the video game that I did over there, because it's a French company.
Oh, sweet. My wife and I, in 2014, my wife and I spent Christmas in Paris and Rome. And it was our first time, going to Europe. And let me tell you, we were terrified. We're from not the big cities. And when we stepped off the plane in Paris, and there was armed, it looked like military guards. They had machine guns, and they were all wearing fatigues. And we were like, where in the hell are we and what's going on? And it was so funny. Our cab driver was amazing. We were like, what's with all the machine guns and the army fatigues? And he was like, oh, 'tis the capital. It is secure. And I was like, holy moly, that's insane. And so that was alarming for us, but I guess it made us feel safe. We had a blast. I mean, Paris was gorgeous, and it was so much fun. And so was Rome. And I was excited that I was going to get the Italy stamp on my passport. But joke's on me, folks. When you're flying from one European country to another, they don't give 2 shits about your passport because you're already in Europe. So right. Nobody ever saw my passport or stamped anything that says Italy, which I was depressed about.
That's true. That's true.
And this is going to sound really weird, but in Paris, across from the Eiffel, on the same side of the river as the Eiffel, is it the Seine? The Seine? The river?
The Seine is called the Seine. Yeah, the river is called the Seine.
So the same side of the Seine as the Eiffel Tower, they do like a Christmas or a holiday market kind of a thing. And they had this little stand that said Sandwich American. And I was like, I'm hungry. I'm American. Let's go see what that's all about. And I'll tell you what that was, Judy. That was hands down the best hot dog I've ever had in my life.
Really?
It was on a baguette. It was cooked like in this giant sort of a wok grill kind of thing with peppers and onions and this beautiful hot dog sausage thing. And I mean, it was just outstanding. And the bread was so fresh because it was a baguette. After they put it all together, then they just topped the whole thing with French fries.
Oh my God.
Was amazing. Like, I was taking pictures of it. Like, the screensaver on my computer is my wife holding that thing. It was so amazing. So if anybody listening is ever in Paris during the holidays, go to that holiday Christmas market thing over by the Eiffel Tower and get that hot dog. It is the bee's knees. So it seems like you spend a lot of time at the Cannes Film Festival. Do you just go all the time, or do you just always have projects that end up going?
I go for different reasons. I've gone many, 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 many times. And I was actually interviewed this year during Cannes by Richard Blanchard, who is Werner Herzog's DP. And he's making a film about the 75 years of Cannes.
Oh, wow.
He interviewed me in his film, which is going to be shown next year in Cannes, about my experiences in Cannes, because it's so incredible. Because every time I go, I get work. I was offered 4 film roles this year, just going. I've sung at fashion shows. I have made films there and won competitions and had films there. And I've had so many different reasons for being there, and so many different things have happened for me. This year, we won an award through the Artisan International Festival for World Peace and Tolerance. We won an award for Best Film for Tango Shalom for Peace and Tolerance there during Cannes. And I did so many different things when I was there. So for me, it's amazing. Also, I'm in the middle of shooting a film right now. It's a 1950s film noir. So the director was there as well, the other actor. So we shot some scenes for the film over there.
Wow. Are you a New York-based person? Do you live in New York?
I'm a New York-based person, yes.
Nice. Okay, so I want to talk about La Petite Famille.
La Petite Famille.
Man, I'm terrible. So say it again.
La Petite Famille.
And what does that mean?
So Ch'ti that's the people who live in northern France, who are kind of like the Hicks. They have a different language. They speak a different type of French. And there was a big film that Danny Boone did a number of years ago, probably like 10 years ago, that was like the hit of all times, Bienvenue chez le Ch'ti. And so this film was Danny Boone's, it's his next film. So Danny Boone stars in it and he directs the film. And it's not like a direct sequel of the last one. But again, it's about a family from this region that are Hicks, that are complete Hicks. And, one of them gets a job in Paris as an architect. And it was very, very funny. And it was such an honor to work in this film for me, because Danny Boone is just one of my favorite comedians, actors, directors. And I was so thrilled to be able to work with him.
But he's a legend.
He's a legend.
Is that in theaters right now?
No, it's not. That's not in theaters right now. What is in theaters right now is Tango Shalom and La Garçonne, which I think you're going to ask me about. La Garçonne.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
La Garçonne, that came out during this pandemic time. It was on France television. La Garçonne is a miniseries. It takes place at 1919, right after World War I. And it's about a woman who she pretends to be her brother, and she goes into the police force to try to avenge the death of her father. And that's played by Laura Smet, that role. I play a very wealthy, bisexual Marlene Dietrich type of character. She's American, and she throws these political parties in her home on the Champs-Élysées. And the series kind of revolves around my home and my character.
Can I only see that in France?
I'm not sure. They were supposed to do a streaming deal through E1, a Canadian company.
Sure.
It has been in other countries. People who I know in other countries have contacted me and told me that they saw it, but I'm not sure if it's here yet.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'll definitely be on the lookout for La Garçonne.
It's going to be called Boyish, I think, in English.
Well, that'll make it easier to find, because whatever that C letter is in Garçonne, I don't know where that is on the keyword.
I know that little tiny, yeah.
It's like a C and a Q had a baby.
Yeah.
Well, that's super dope. Was that an audition, or did they contact you? Like, again, you're doing all this work in France.
So I was in Cannes.
Oh, yeah. What were you doing there?
I was at the festival, and my agent, she gets me, like every time I'm there, she gets me a role. It's really funny. I have a French agent, and she calls me with this audition, and I read it. I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. This is me. I can do this so well. So I auditioned for it. I went into the Carlton, and I was pretending to be this character, because everything there is already like, from the 1919s. It's like, so it was so much fun. And I curled my hair, and I put on a boa and had a very sexy outfit on. And the directors and the writers says, oh my God, when we saw you, we knew it was you right away. Second we saw you, it was you.
Perfect. That's what I'm talking about.
And I always knew I was going to get the part. It was funny with this one. I hadn't heard from them for months. And then they finally called me to, I was just like, I just knew I was going to get on. I had no doubt from like the second I sent my thing in.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. And then I didn't hear from them for months. They're like, oh.
Wow. Look at you, all the confidence in the world.
Well, not always. But the ones that I know.
That's awesome.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Erica.
And I'm Cassandra.
And we're the hosts of Trashy Trashy.
We're a podcast filled with trashy news stories and garbage people.
Did you leave the scene of an accident to go tanning?
Do you refer to wearing the strap down on your Crocs as sports mode?
Have you ordered Domino's online before they even open in the morning?
Are you switching the same AAA batteries from your TV remote to your vibrator instead of just buying more batteries?
Or are you normal?
Check us out wherever you download podcasts.
Let's get back into it.
Also, there's a thing called My Name Is Ronya. Is that a documentary?
Yes, Ronya.
Golly, I'm the worst. I can't read. Man, I'm terrible.
Well, it's very hard to pronounce anyway.
Well, also, I've got Corona on my mind, the virus. And so I'm like, oh, she did a documentary about coronavirus. My name is Ronya. So that's where I went with that. So my apologies. Tell me about the documentary. My Name is Ronya.
So I'm in the middle of making that. I'm not finished yet with that. I'm directing it. It's about my mother, Ronya, who was a hidden child in the Holocaust.
What? Well, she was a Jew in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so she escaped when she was 6.5 years old across the French-Swiss border by herself.
By herself? At
By
6?
6.5.
And so this is her story?
This is her story and my grandparents' story. They were reunited. They both escaped separately. They were both in the camp together, detention camps in the south of France, and they both escaped. My mother was smuggled out, but then she escaped across the border. She was hidden and then escaped. And then my grandparents, they hid in the ceiling of the camp for 10 nights, and then they escaped. And they were helped by guards and police that wanted to arrest them, but ended up helping them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So how does one go about telling a documentary about an event where probably just about nobody from that event is still alive? So how do you go about telling that story?
My mother's alive.
Good. Glad to hear. But some of the other people aren't.
Yeah. We went back to Germany and France and Switzerland, and we like a discovery kind of magic. It was really crazy. We found the escape route they used to escape. And my grandfather, 30 years ago, he made a tape of it.
Like just telling the story?
Yeah. And we follow his voice.
Whoa.
To all the places that he talks about as he tells the story. So he's going to narrate the story.
Oh my gosh. I just got chills. This sounds amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Is this going to be in English?
Yes.
I only ask because you do so much in France.
But there are people in it that subtitles, for people who speak German. And
I know it's a little probably uncouth to ask, but any idea when that's coming out?
Well, we are now raising money for the second part of it. So if anyone wants to give me some money, that's great.
You laugh, but how could somebody find you in order to help make that happen?
We have a site. There's a bunch of different sites for that particular one. It's Kindness of Strangers Doc is the website, and beecherprod.com. But there is a thing for donations on the site. And if you want to invest, you can contact me directly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, I'm sure I'm going to say this wrong because I've been messing everything else up, but tell me about Tango Shalom.
So Tango Shalom is my baby. It's a project that I have been involved with for a very long time. And it is an amazing film. It's about a Hasidic rabbi who is having financial problems, and he has a large family, 6 kids, doesn't know what to do. I play his wife in the movie. So he prays to God for help. And God comes to him in a dream and tells him he has to dance the tango in a televised dance competition to resolve his financial issues. But he can't touch a woman who's not his wife. So he has to go to all the other religions to ask for help.
Whoa. And this is a comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy. It's with Renee Taylor and Lainey Kazan, Joe Bologna. Renee Taylor is from The Nanny. Lainey Kazan is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Joe Bologna is Lovers and Other Strangers. He's married to Renee, and their son directs it, Gabe Bologna. Karina Smirnoff, Dancing with the Stars, 10 seasons of Dancing with the Stars. She plays a tango dancer.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so we did a theatrical run, and now we're going into streaming, and we've won 16 awards.
Oh my goodness.
We won an award for peace and tolerance just recently at Cannes. And we, through the Artisan Festival, I think I told you that already. We just got recognized by UNESCO.
What is UNESCO?
UNESCO is like part of the UN. It's like associated with the UN.
Wow.
But it's Paris based.
Wow. So I don't want to assume how Jewish you were raised, but did some of this strike home with you? Like, did you remember being like, oh yeah, that's right, I never got to go to a dance or anything like that?
It's funny. I was raised very reform with a mother and parents whose families went through the Holocaust. Like, they didn't believe in God. And, I'm much more spiritual than they are because, I believe in God, and it's not religious. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual.
I love the distinction, by the way.
Because I really believe in everyone coming, like, this is why the message of the film is so beautiful to me. It's like, all the religions coming together and just recognizing and acknowledging each other and working together and helping each other. But I use my own spirituality in this and my love of God to embody what my character's beliefs were. And I did a lot of research on the Hasidism and Orthodox, and I do have that in my family. Parts of my family in England are Orthodox Hasidic. I actually lived with a family. Like, I spent a weekend with a family when I was a kid just to learn about the differences.
Really?
Yeah. And it was so different. It was like, wow, you don't keep money in your pocket. You can't carry anything. They have a lot of different things, but it's all beautiful.
I think that really does get to the heart of what made America so awesome, is that everybody does have these differences and they're all beautiful in their way. And back in the day when we used to celebrate those differences, I think that's really what made this such a great place. So I think that's really, really cool that as a small child, you did a family swap for a week or whatever. That is so cool.
Yeah, not swap. I just went into their family. Nobody came into ours.
I got a hunch that if that would have happened when I was a kid, I never would have gone home.
I don't know.
So, Tango Shalom, since there's a lot of dancing in this film, I'm going to assume it has a soundtrack. There's music in this film, yeah?
Oh my God, this soundtrack is incredible. Incredible.
How much music in this film is Modest Yahoo?
It's not, but Zizi Bologna, who did the soundtrack, she's a Grammy award-winning.
Part of the family with Joe and Gabe and all them?
Wife of Gabe.
Okay.
The director. And yeah, amazing music. Every time I listen to it, it's like, oh my God, this music is incredible. Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're submitting it to Grammys, Oscars.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it. Where can I find that? Do you know where I might find that soundtrack?
Well, it's in the film.
Sure, but I can't just walk around and listen to the film on my phone.
It's not out yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You got to watch the movie and then listen to it.
And I know we talked earlier, this film is in theaters now, or it's about to be in theaters now?
Yes, the film is in theaters now.
Okay.
And it will be going streaming October 29th. It's all over in different theaters in different parts of the country now. And then it will go to like Comcast, it's subscription-based services, October 29th. So it'll be those type of things. And then eventually it'll get to streaming in like 5 months.
Absolutely. Everybody, keep a lookout for Tango Shalom. It sounds amazing. And I'm not really sure when this episode is going to come out. So check everywhere. Check the local theaters. Check the pay-per-view spots and the Viacoms and whatnots. And check the streaming services that are everywhere. There's apps. You can find it.
Actually, a good way to find Tango Shalom is through the website to see where it's playing and where it's streaming, which is just tangoshalom.com. And you can watch the trailer, you see, us and the awards, and then it's a list of the theaters where it's playing and where it'll be streaming.
Gotcha. I can't believe tangoshalom.com wasn't already taken. Judi, where can people find you on social media?
So I'm on Instagram as actress Judi Beecher Official, JudiBeecher. I'm also on IMDb. You can look me up on imdb.com. Put my name in, Judi Beecher. You can see all my credits and stuff. I have a Facebook fan page as well, Judi Beecher.
Yes, Judi Beecher on Facebook. So no Twitter, no Vero, no TikTok.
Yes, I am on Twitter as well. It's my name also on Twitter. TikTok, I just started a TikTok page. I have like 3 videos. I'm not very good at that, but I have 3 little funny things. So.
I don't think that's for our generation because I can't figure that stuff out either. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do here? Judi, as we're heading out, is there anything that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about that you wanted to talk about today specifically? And also, I apologize for all of my pronunciation errors.
No, I think you did a fantastic job. I do want to say, though, I also have a song that's going to be coming out soon.
Wait, this is your song?
Yes, I'm a singer-songwriter, too, and it's called Paris Ooh La La. Paris Ooh La La. I wrote this. It's about a woman obsessed with Paris. And you think that she's obsessed with a man, but in fact, she's not. She's obsessed with Paris. So it's a cute song. And I have a little music video that I shot in Paris that I'm going to be doing a little premiere soon.
I'm so excited. Is this song in French or is it in English?
It's half French and half English. It's a fun, quirky song. A lot of the stuff I do, here's the comedy part of me. I love things that make you feel good. Like, it's just a fun song. It's a very fun song.
Exactly. So where would they find this video? Do you know yet?
It'll be on YouTube.
Okay.
Paris is Paris. Paris, ooh la la. No, Paris, ooh la la.
And how do you translate ooh la la?
Ooh la la.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh la la, Paris.
Ooh, I like that. Now I need you to say ooh la la, Fascination Street.
Ooh la la, Fascination Street.
That is amazing. Judi Beecher, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your clearly hectic and French-influenced schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it was my pleasure, Steve.
You are awesome. Thank you so much, Judi. You have a great rest of your week and go get a bagel or something. Do something New York this weekend. Are you guys allowed to go outside right now?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go to Lincoln Center tonight and go see a movie.
Oh, snap. Well, that's
Jane
fantastic.
Campion film.
Oh, Academy Award winner Jane Campion.
Yes.
Oh, check it. Oh, ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Well, that is fantastic. Go have some fun. Go do some New York things that you weren't able to do for the last 2 years. And just enjoy whatever freedom we have right now. Who knows how worse it's going to get? Hopefully it's going to get better real soon. But in the meantime, go and enjoy the things.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Judi. You have a great week.
Thank you. You too, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Paris, ooh la la.
Opening music is the song Magnolia from the 2001 album Intransigence, used with permission from Douglas Miles Clark. Closing music is from the song Say My Name off the 2021 album Underdog Anthems, used with permission from Jack's Hollow. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show on iTunes and wherever else you download podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes are available there as well. Check me out on Vero at Fascination Street Pod and TikTok at Fascination Street Pod. And again, thanks for listening.